then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back. Yes, episode 247. Yes, 247 episodes. You know the deal. You know the gist of it. I am your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., etc., etc. And all the way in Granite City Studios in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Paul Vold, Shield. What's going on there, Shield?
You know, to quote the great Fred Durst of the band Limp Bizkit, it's just one of those days. Everything sucks. Everything is, well, I'll let you finish it from that point of view. But, I mean, we were talking about it before the show as well. There are 3 guarantees during a Minnesota summer. Unbearable heat, construction work, and Canadian wildfire smoke that just wants to kill you. No reason whatsoever to go outside. So I'm glad I'm staying in right now. Got the show. Lots of great things to talk about, as always.
We do have a lot of great things to talk about. Voldy, we have obviously news happening by the minute here with the trade deadline.
Crazy.
Twins have made some trades. We'll talk about that. We're starting off Hot Take tonight with the Minnesota Twins. I have some thoughts on the current state of the Twins, and there is a lot to discuss in regards the Minnesota Twins. Now, with that being said, we're going to take a look at those Minnesota Vikings. They have they're in pads now. They've got helmets on. Apparently, things are going really well. Unfortunately, our guy, jhettas, is hurt. He's got a little bit of a hamstring issue. It does not appear that he is going to miss week 1 against the Bears. So hopefully jhettas will be A-OK come then. I say shut him down, the whole kit and caboodle. That's all good. Voldy, you announced earlier today that we are back with some Where Are They Now? We've got some doozies for you. One being former Minnesota Vikings wide receiver, Gregchilds. Yes.
Bam.
Now, some people probably are thinking to themselves, who the hell is that? Who is this guy? I will explain once we get to Where Are They Now? And let me tell you, I think it was just so sad how that all turned out for Gregchilds. I thought he was going to be one hell of a player. Unfortunately, just injuries happened and whatnot. So we'll talk more about that here later on. And Voldy tonight has former Minnesota Twin, Oswaldoarcia. Yes. Arcia is somebody Voldy's had on his list for a while now, actually. We were just talking about that, and I can't wait to get into it because I do remember him. I thought he was a pretty solid player. We will talk about and see where he is now, so we are looking forward to that as well. And, guys, we've got ARA this tonight. We got Kenny Pickett. He tweaks his hamstring. Opens the door for Shadur, for Dylan Gabriel. Ooh, a lot happening with that.
Arch Manning, maybe
next year. That's an option. So, but sticking with the NFL as well, Treyhendrickson and I think it's Shamar, right? Is it Shamar?
Yep.
Shemarstewart. They, as Voldy as the Bengals jersey. Hendrickson is back in camp. Stewart has finally signed his contract, but doesn't mean that Hendrickson's going to play. Do we know? Are they going to get a deal done? I have no idea. So there's a lot to discuss in regards to that. And developing over this past week, Bryceharper cussing out the commish, but the commish not backing down. There's some controversy going on with that, so we'll talk about that. And then to round things off, Lionelmessi suspended for skipping the All-Star game for soccer. Ooh, interesting developments there. We will talk about that. And then to round things out, you guys know the deal. It's Shield Shoutouts, baby. Yes, it is. Voldy's got a plethora of Shield Shoutouts tonight, so we've got a lot to talk about. And you guys know the deal. Big news. The 5-year anniversary shorts have been ordered. The order has been placed. Yeah. Claps out to all those who finally got their order in. You guys will be getting those. And you guys know the deal. We have the new hats. You see Voldy wearing the camo hat right there. As well as these those. Yes, ooh, exactly. You want to go through them real quick for us, Voldy? What do you got?
Of course, just like the one that I adorn on my head right now, the nice hunter orange right here. Never too early to get started here with hunting season. That's always available for you. Limited edition neon green right there, neon yellow, whatever you want to call it, right there with the MZ Sports Live. Of course, we've got the 5th anniversary hat ×2. That's right, limited edition, because only got 5 of these. You want to get them before they are gone. Our final and last MinneZona Sports Live Adidas collab hat right there. I think this is a small medium, so it's the last one we got. And of course, we've got the staples, the OGs right here with, of course, the Digi Camo and the American flag hat as well. $20, $5 shipping on top of it. And they are all available here with us at MinneZona Sports Live. So get them while they are still here. I got some stuff cooking in the works as well. Always looking at product. Never can have enough hats. Just ask my wife. She would tell you that I have a lot of hats.
Fair enough, Voldy. You probably have way more hats than I do. But, again, you know, that's why we do it. If people love hats, we give them to you. That's what people want. So, with that being said, let's get it going with some tater-tot. Hot take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, it is time for some Tater Tot Hot Take. The whole deal with those Minnesota Twins, they are selling, and they are selling like crazy right about now.
Hard.
The breaking news that we just talked about, and I just want to play this because you never know when we don't have this. You know when we'll do this again. So, the Minnesota Twins have dealt jhoanduran to the Philadelphia Phillies for some surprising prospects. Yep. It is, he is no longer a Minnesota Twin. I don't know if it's like officially official or anything like that. But our closer is gone. Obviously, the Twins are in sell mode right now. I definitely have some thoughts, but not in regards to this trade specifically. I'll get to that too. So I'm going to wait until we kind of get through it, and then I will tee off on one Rocco Baldelli here in a second. Voldy, instant reaction to this trade. What are your thoughts here with the Twins trading Duran? And Zoners, I throw this to you as well. Let us know in the chat and or comments later on what your thoughts on the Twins trading Duran for some prospects. So, Voldy,
we can't have nice things. We just can't have them. I understand the situation we're in right now. We're very back and forth. We're, 5.5 games out of the wild card right now, out of the 3rd wild card spot, and it lost 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox. Not a good look. Not a good look right then and there. Red Sox are a team that's scuffling, to say the least. I would know personally myself, as I follow the team religiously, along with the Twins. And then you go out and you get rid of your best gun. Yes, I understand that you could get something back for Duran selling while the stock is high. And it's unfortunate that we have to lose a guy like him, especially with, the back end of the bullpen. Are you going to slide Griffin Jackson into the closer spot? I mean, where do we go from this point? And we didn't even mention about the other trade that happened. What was that, yesterday, the day before, with sending Chris Paddock and Randy Dobnak to Detroit? So we'll be seeing them here sometime very soon in the near future, and they will probably beat the ever-living crap out of us because that's just how it goes. I hope for Chris Paddock it's going to work out well for him. He could use a nice change of scenery and a competitive advantage with Detroit, because they can actually put up runs and actually keep leads at the same time. But back to the task at hand here with Duran. It sucks, and I hope that these prospects that they got back are actually going to pan out, because if we've seen anything over the last, 15, 20 years in trades, when the Twins trade for prospects, most of the time doesn't really pan out, and the other teams are looking back at us and laughing.
Well, yeah, and with that other trade too. I mean, Paddock and Uber guy, who, I mean, I didn't even know he was still on the damn team, to be honest.
I know.
With you.
Me too.
I had no clue. And it's kind of telling when that this team just is clearly just they're just like, whatever, we're just gonna sell. Okay, that's fine. Get what you want to get, but at the same time, right. They're like you said, they're not that far out, but the proof is in the pudding. Like they have to at this point, and I think them making this trade is telling, because I think they want to do a reset, an absolute full reset of this Twins team. Now, I think heads are going to roll here at the end of the season. Now, I think them giving up Duran kind of muddies the waters a little bit, because now you have to go look for a closer in this next offseason or whatever the hell you're doing with Jax. And apparently Jax is up there for possibly being dealt as well. But at this point, I just thought Duran was going to be kind of one of those guys where it's like, it's got to be really good. But the Twins got two really good prospects out of it. Well, we've seen how history has been to the Minnesota Twins. And let's be honest, it hasn't been very good. The prospects really haven't turned out in the past. So there's a lot of question marks in regards to that. But, again, they're not playing as if they want to be in the wild card and or playoffs, for that matter. Paddock, I think, was just terrible from the start. I mean, he just didn't really have it. He had some good games. He's had some absolutely pathetic outings as well. And it just shows how bad this team has been this year. And how bad the pitching situation is, how bad, guys getting hurt left and right and whatnot. So we'll get into that in a second. But just to kind of round things off with this, Duran, I'm going to miss him, because, good Lord, that walkout with him is the most electric thing. I feel like when you go to a game, you're watching on TV, and when he comes out, it just gives you chills. It's just so cool. Oh, yeah. And now, well, no, don't have that anymore. Sorry, Twins fans. That's just how it is. So, Voldy, my next question to you, and then we'll kind of get into kind of the future here, since we pretty much know they're going to be selling. There's been some reports, Voldy, that Carlos Correa could be dealt as well, but he's nursing an injury right now. Surprise, surprise. Right. But one of those teams that is interested is the Houston Astros, his former team, which is kind of shocking to say the least.
Irony.
It is crazy in itself. So, Voldy, my question to you is this. If not Correa, what other Twins do you think could be traded besides, I mean, you could probably say Correa as well. But what are some other Twins you're looking at that they could be dealt by tomorrow? What do you got?
I mean, I look at the situation just talking about with Correa as well and the Houston potentiality of that trade. I know that some talks have taken place. Even Correa came out and said that the trades weren't serious to begin with, or at least the conversation isn't serious at all. I find that interesting, especially given the fact of, I wouldn't say so much as a discourse between Correa and the Astros, but that that exit and, of course, the subsequent trying of signings for Correa before coming back to Minnesota didn't exactly end well between Houston and Correa. So it'd be very interesting to see how they try and mend those fences if a trade should take place. But I look at what the Twins have right now at the major league level. I mean, you could certainly say that a guy maybe even Willie Castro, Bader as well. You could always use a bench guy or at least a little bit of depth at a certain position as well. Castro can play a lot of spots in the infield. Of course, we've seen him in the outfield, a bat for the lineup too. Bader's also been a really nice complementary piece, has definitely fit into the Minnesota Twins organization well since he came this year too. But again, any team that's looking to make a playoff push or at least gain a little bit of depth on the bench, guys like that will certainly draw a lot of attention for sure, not just with the bat, but also being able to play a lot of positions and also, carry at least defensively well enough to be a good complementary piece for a team that's looking to position themselves for a good stretch here in the final couple of months of the regular season.
Agreed. And I think one of those, a couple names besides Correa. I think Larnach probably stays.
Yeah.
I just found out about this Gasper guy. I had no idea who he was before until Saturday. Brooks Lee, I don't think's going anywhere. Clemens, I could see him. I could see him maybe go. Jeffers, they did get that prospect from the Tigers who's supposed to be pretty good, but I would put him as a maybe. Castro, I think, is very likely. France, I don't know who you'd have at first if you traded him. Royce Lewis, I think, is probably staying, but he hasn't been great as well. Wallner, maybe. I don't know. I doubt it. Bader is definitely on that list as well. So, Zebby Matthews pitched today and was terrible. And, again, he's still a young guy, so I'm kind of giving him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt and whatnot. But let's go back to the beginning of the season, Voldy. Let's go back to what our just this great manager has said in Rocco Baldelli, saying that he wants an effing parade here for the Minnesota Twins. So he wants the families and friends to come together, and the team, like everyone in Minnesota, will effing love them and everything like that. How does Rocco Baldelli feel now about this? He said it in front of cameras. He said it in front of everybody to see, and right now they're selling all of these players.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, you think you can contend and everything like that? Now, I understand this isn't a. This is all on Rocco Baldelli type of thing. I get it. The poll ads, you know the deal. We've talked about it numerous times. Derek Falvey is just doing what he can as well as Rocco. But Voldy, I went to the Twins game on Saturday. And let me tell you something. And it was a hot one, by the way. I was sweating the bullets. But watching the Minnesota Twins play, I've never seen so little effort put into the team. I mean, they were bad. Hitting wise, they were okay. They had a couple nice hits and everything like that. I still see some guys that are kind of putting forth that effort. I don't want to call out specific guys because I just saw a lack of effort. I mean, defensively they were terrible. The pitching was absolutely awful. And I put that on Rocco Baldelli. Now, you're talking a big game before the season. You're telling people, oh, they'll effing love you. This is, I want to effing parade and everything like that.
Yeah.
How about you actually coach the freaking team, Rocco, instead of sitting there twiddling your damn thumbs? If you want to do something and actually, make an effort to bring a parade and bring a World Series to this town, then don't freaking lie to everybody and say that at the beginning of the season. So now you're selling, and now you're in the position that you didn't think you'd be in, according to Rocco. Mm-hmm. I think that if the Twins want to do this complete reset, I say you get rid of Rocco, you get rid of Falvey, and finally the Pohlads sell the team. Just get rid of it all. And if the Twins end up trading Carlos Correa or some other couple other big names, this is going to be a complete reset of this franchise. And that means that I assume a deal is close for the Pohlads to sell to somebody. I don't know who. We have no idea. We haven't heard anything.
No idea.
So if you're going to do this, Rocco needs to go. He absolutely needs to go. And you know what? I would fire him right now. They lost 13-1 to the Red Sox. Not saying the Red Sox are a bad team or anything like that.
Ain't
but
good.
13-1. This is their lineup, Voldy. Listen to this.
Mm-hmm. Please.
Larnach, Gasper, Lee, Clemens, Jeffers, Castro, France, Lewis, Wallner, Bader, Kersey Jr. I don't even know who that is. Who is that dude?
The top four of the lineup wasn't even on the team opening day.
I mean, it's so bad. It's absolutely pathetic. And it's like, well, you can't. I'm sick and tired of the excuse. Oh, the Pohlads aren't doing them any favors. They're not giving them enough money and going out and getting guys and everything like that. But that is Falvey's job. That is his job to find those types of guys to bring on this team. And Rocco needs to have these guys playing at a high level. And guess what? He's not doing that right now. So Rocco, I think, I'm not saying this is going to happen because I doubt it, but fire Rocco, man. I mean, what else do you have to lose? Honestly, you can bring in somebody if whatever bench coach that's there, whatever. If they do well, maybe they can be manager. Who knows? I think if you're going to do this reset, you fire Rocco's ass right now. Him, Falvey, everything. Just blow it up. The season's lost. Try and do your best the rest of the season and get this off our minds. We'll focus on the future. This is absolutely pathetic, especially when Clemens, and, unbeknownst to him, he's pitching in that game.
Yeah.
That just shows how bad this is. Oh, you can't blame it on you blame it on injuries. You blame it on the post. As a manager, your job is to have those guys playing at the best place that they can, and they are not. They are terrible. And Buxton being hurt, well, no shock there. Correa being hurt, no shock there. This is awful. This is absolutely, positively awful. I think they should just do it right now. Just cut it off, say, all right, Rocco, you're gone. You're not coming back next year. See ya. And I will rejoice if that happens. But
bring back Derek Shelton.
Yeah, why not?
Bring back Derek Shelton. Because, he had a little bit of success in Pittsburgh, young burgeoning franchise with some young guys. Hit a couple of snags early on this year, and he got relieved of his managerial duties. But when Derek Shelton was here as the bench coach, I mean, those years that he was here with Rocco, definitely more of the competitive years. He was in the midst of the Bomba Twins there, which is hard to believe. That was 6 years ago. And team looks completely different from that point. And, Wes Johnson leaves as the pitching coach. He's at LSU. Oh, yeah, who did Wes Johnson, coach down there? Oh, yeah, how about a guy by the name of Paul Skeens for a season at LSU? I mean, the coaching staff has changed around Rocco so much that the the production and the value of the Twins rotation positionally on the field has just gone right down the toilet ever since, a majority of those guys have either gotten other jobs or have just straight up left the Twins too.
And that, Voldy, I'm glad you said that, because that is a result of Rocco not being a good manager, not only to the players, but to those coaches. Wes Johnson was a very good pitching coach. Absolutely. I know that he was supposed to be a guru with the Twins, and it didn't work out. But you know what? I think a lot of that has to do with Rocco. I think a lot of these, they got rid of everyone last year. They got rid of the pitching coach. They got rid of the batting coach. The whole kit and caboodle. And they're like, oh, we're going to bring in new people and everything like that. And, look, it's worse than last season. So, Rocco's doing one hell of a job at having people leave. So Rocco is the main culprit here. So if you guys want to sit back and say, it's not Rocco, we got to hold on to him, he knows how to manage a team. No, he doesn't. Because of those examples Voldy has put right there, taking pitchers out too early and making dumb managerial decisions week in and week out, and especially in the playoffs too, FYI. So Rocco needs to go. We'll see who else will be on the block here. We'll keep you guys up to date with that. But if you're going to do the reset, do it right now. I don't care I don't care if they just tank the whole season. There's not going to be a lot of people in those stands. I can tell you that much. So tickets will be cheap.
It will make my visit coming up on August 16th very interesting. Yes, I will be attending my first Twins game in about 5 years. So
that's right. I think the last one was your bachelor party, right?
No, I went to one when we just moved back to Minnesota. So that would have been 2019. Gotcha. I want to say it's the last time I went to a Twins game. But
okay. So. Yeah, that's been a while for sure. If they're in contention, you probably see a lot more people.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, good Lord. All right, anyway, let's move on to a team that's actually trying and spending money on players. The Minnesota Vikings had some news kind of pop up this past week. Unfortunately, our guy's Jhettas was dealing with some hamstring tightness. Apparently, he missed, or thankfully, that too. He didn't get a major injury. That's for sure. He avoided disaster and he got out of there. He kind of felt his hammy tightening up and everything like that. And thankfully there wasn't anything bad. So it seems like KOC is not feeling too scared about him not playing week 1 and everything like that. He has zero worry about jhettas being ready to go for the Bears on Monday night in their first game. It's a very minor hamstring strain. Specifically, I am very happy the Vikings were just like, listen, we'll just shut you down here this preseason. Mm-hmm. You are the franchise, my friend. You are the franchise. So, as you can see behind me with jhettas, we need jhettas to be healthy. So, Voldy, what are your thoughts here on the injury? I know KOC has said that he is not worried, but Voldy, are you maybe just a titch worried, or are you kind of with KOC? It'll all be good. Everything will be good.
I know that the hamstring was definitely a concern last season that held jhettas out for a good majority of the season, or at least for a good handful of games, and trying to get him back out and straightened. I just hope that hopefully this is a sign of it happens early, that it shouldn't be a problem in the latter half of the season. But again, it's the preseason. He doesn't really have to play all that much. You'd, like to see him get some snaps to at least get timing down, especially with a new quarterback. But hopefully as the preseason kind of moves along, get those reps in practice. But, game reps completely different from the speed of an actual NFL game, especially for, new starting quarterback who's going to be getting meaningful reps this year. I'm not overly worried, but, it's in the back of your mind. You're thinking about it a little bit. We're cautiously optimistic about the hamstring of of Justin Jefferson?
Well, for one, I think, there was some concern, but it's not the same hamstring. It is
Right.
On the left side, so thankfully he doesn't have to worry about the same one being injured. Now, anytime you're dealing with a hamstring, and we've talked about this, and especially when he had it in 2023, the Vikings went about it the right way. Unfortunately, I think that was the year when Kirk went down and wasn't able to tore his Achilles and everything, and it just didn't make sense for him. But Justin did return, and he had over 1,000 yards receiving and a good number of touchdowns when he came back. Now, I'm just glad that when he started feeling tightness in his hamstring, that he just was like, "Hold on, let's get checked out. Because he knows the impact that he has on this Minnesota Vikings organization, the community, and especially the NFL. The guy for Madden 26, he's in the 99 club again. So claps out to jhettas for that as well. I think this situation specifically isn't something to overly worry about. The only time that I would be worried if it was the same hamstring, because that can be tricky. And nonetheless, any hamstring injury is very tricky. So I think for jhettas, he knows how much he means to this team. He knows, I got to be healthy, I got to be for this team, and, I got to make sure I'm good so that we can go out there and, win. And I think that's the smart thing to do. Now, he's been active, though, Voldy. He has been very active in training camp. Apparently, he was calling some plays. He relayed some plays to McCarthy and the guys during the practice and stuff like that. So he's around, and he's leading by example. He's there. I mean, guys with injuries sometimes just are, not doing much and whatnot. So it's good to know that Justin is out there and being active and kind of being with his teammates and whatnot. So in regards to outside of Justin Jefferson, hopefully for a speedy recovery, and obviously can't wait to see him play week 1. But the Vikings are finally putting on the pads, Voldy. There's been a lot of highlights coming through camp. J.J. McCarthy has done quite well. This past, I think it was yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, he had his first kind of, not so great day, and that happens. Right. You're going to have that. And apparently the D-line is looking good. Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, they're making some strides, but the O-line is still struggling a little bit. Fry's coming back from the injury. Same with Darrisaw. Voldy, are you concerned at all, really, with the condition of the O-line, hearing that they're not doing as well in camp so far? And do you think that could change here as the weeks go on? They'll keep improving, and obviously I think they will. But Voldy, what are your thoughts on the concerns with the O-line starting out?
I mean, I would certainly hope things are going to get better as they continue to gel together at training camp and everything. Of course, like you talked about with Fries and Darrisaw coming off injuries, Darrisaw being a full participant is great to see, especially coming off the knee that he hurt in the latter half of the season last year, and just still getting back and getting his footing, literally and figuratively back underneath him. And again, the offensive line got a major facelift compared from last year. This offseason was a real big emphasis along with the D-line. I think it just takes more reps, if anything, to get accustomed to each other and at least build that timing and get that down, especially with the quarterback. It's great to see the D-line finally get some love, because we've been talking about a year in and year out of just like, yes, we have edge rushers, but we need guys inside plugging up holes while also still trying to get after the quarterback at the same time. And especially now that we've got, Jonathan, we got Jonathan Allen, Hargrave as well in on the mix there, along with Harrison Phillips, and at least get something established there early on. Hopefully that is a definitely a good sign, given the fact that the D-line has been very patchwork again and just not very overwhelmingly successful that we've seen in years past.
So, the one thing that I think we all need to remember is that it takes time before the O-line can really mesh. And again, this is a completely new interior. You have Ryan Kelly and Will Fries, who have worked together, obviously, in Indianapolis. But then you have a rookie as well, in Donovan Jackson, who has, started to kind of learn the offense, and Brandell probably has been mixed in there as well. So there's a lot of moving parts here. Now, I think they'll get it together. They'll find that rhythm. And it just kind of shows, too, that the Vikings are very, are very serious about the interior and the interior pressure. And now that they have that, that just adds another layer to this Flores defense where it's going to be tough for quarterbacks to get the ball off in time because you got guys coming off the edge with Grenard and Van Ginkel and Dallas Turner Voldy, who has been very active, apparently, as in Flores' defense. And now these guys are starting to mesh a little bit, and things could get interesting, that's for sure,
Definitely.
for this team. So there's a lot of positives so far here for the Vikings. Obviously, there's going to be some mistakes that they make here in training camp, but that's why it's training camp. You're training for this, and once they get to joint practices, we'll see what they're made of. So it'll be fun to see. M Stig 43. It's been a long time, my friend. DJ Matty C and Voldy. What up? What up? What up? What up? Thank you for tuning in. We've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, we talk Twins and our Minnesota Vikings. We'll keep you up to date. Sounds like McCarthy is really learning. He's doing great. The big thing is we'll see what happens if he plays preseason game 1. There's been reports that he might play the first preseason game, play a couple snaps, or series, not snaps. He'll have enough snaps for sure, but he'll play a couple series. Things will go well, hopefully, and we'll get kind of a first little preview of JJ McCarthy. So anyway, that'll do it for Tater Tot Hot Take this time around. We'll keep you up to date on any news that pops up. I do have the Twitter sphere open in case the Twins make a trade or something happens with the Vikings. You never know. The Lynx are taking on the Liberty, the hated Liberty, I will say. 34-33, Liberty up 1, and they are here in Minnesota, so we will keep an eye on that game as well. So, Voldy, where are they now? We've got interesting group this week because some people have not heard of Gregchilds. Yes, he was a Minnesota Viking, and yes, he was very good friends with one Jarius Wright. They both went to Arkansas together, and the Vikings drafted both of those guys. So we'll have some things to talk about with Gregchilds, see where he is now. And Voldy tonight has Oswaldoarcia. Yes, he will be talked about as well. Another Twin who was quite good in his time with Minnesota. So Voldy will keep us up to date, see what he's doing, how he's doing, and where he's at, and we'll talk about it. So without further ado, Voldy, where are they now? Where'd those guys go?
Check your milk carton. It's time for Where Are They Now?
All right, it is time for Where Are They Now? Like we said, we got two guys that need some explaining. And Voldy, I will let you go ahead and go first with Oswaldoarcia. What do you got?
I believed in my time with Oswaldoarcia when he came up and joined the Twins that he was truly going to be, in my heart of hearts, the next Kirby Puckett for the Minnesota Twins. Not the same player at the level defensively, but just a polarizing franchise player that was going to be a stalwart in the Twins lineup. Sadly, that only lasts barely the span of 3 seasons for the Minnesota Twins and for Oswaldoarcia. Of course, he did get called up in 2013 after a pretty good run in 2012 as the minor league player of the year for the Twins, or at least the minor league hitter of the year. Did ultimately get his chance at the big leagues in 2013. So we're well over a decade from the initial emergence of Oswaldoarcia getting his first major league home run against the now late Jose Fernandez. God rest his soul on top of that. But of course, he did have a little bit of trouble early on, striking out quite a bit in 378 plate appearances in 2013, struck out 117 times. Not exactly great numbers, but fast forward to 2014, that's when we really started to see the Arcia that we had grown and were accustomed to. That being him putting up in 103 games, 20 home runs, 57 RBIs, 127 strikeouts with a 231 batting average. So that was a time. That was a time in Major League Baseball. High risk and high reward at the same time. You either hit the home run or you strike out. Mark Reynolds, if you will, for all those baseball heads out there. Either hit a home run or you strike out. He was putting up 250 strikeouts a year, but still hitting 35, 40 home runs on the season. So 2014, and he was certainly in the running of being, the rookie of the year in certain aspects. But unfortunately, he did have a little bit of trouble staying healthy. He started as the starting right fielder for the Twins in 2014, but had some troubles in the year with, of course, just consistency, staying healthy, and was bouncing back and forth from, of course, the minors to the Twins, back and forth there. 2015, not really much on top of that. Sadly, only played 15 games in 2019, and thus in 2016, the rubber hit the road at that point, where he was ultimately designated for assignment and then was ultimately traded to the Tampa Bay Rays. He got later designated for assignment after 21 games, appeared with the Miami Marlins in 2016. So in 2016 alone, Oswaldoarcia played for 4 teams at one point, or was on the roster for 4 teams at that certain point in his career. But then after that, he had his troubles even making a major league lineup. 2016 last reported for him. Of course, he was on the San Diego Padres, played a handful of games, not a whole lot of success at that level, but that 2014 season for Oswaldoarcia, magical to say the least, even with his emergence and plenty of playing time. Now, even for the fact of maybe not making it back to the major leagues, Oswaldoarcia did not stay away from baseball. No. He went over and played in Japan. He was playing in Mexico. He was playing in the Mexican winter leagues as well, still fine-tuning his craft. Now at the rightful age of, age 34 years old, Oswaldoarcia is still playing professional baseball. Yes, that's right. He's playing for Caliente de Durango in the Mexican Professional League right now, and I believe in 3 teams this year that he's been. 37 games, a total of 11 home runs, 45 walks to go along with, in total, a 196 batting average as well. So again, high risk, high reward on top of it. 11 home runs in 37 games, Oswaldoarcia still trying to find a way to get it done and stay in a lineup as well. But again, when Oswaldoarcia did make his way to the Twins, that 2014 season, 20 home runs, 57 RBIs on the year, 231 batting average, I thought, we're only going up from here. And watch out, we're going to be hanging that number 31 at Target Field. Yeah. Boy, was I glad that I was wrong. But Oswaldoarcia was magic, to say the least. But as well as, his brother Orlando, still kind of bouncing around in the major leagues as well a little bit. playing for a handful of teams. So every time I see an Arcia pop up on a box score, at least some sort of highlight, I hope that it's Oswaldo, but unfortunately has not come to be. So right now, OswaldoArcia still getting the work done, still hitting dingers down in Mexico right now, the ripe old age of 34 years old.
Well, that says a lot. I mean, that's dedication right there. He must really love the game, and he enjoys playing it, and he's playing well with it too. Voldy, you're spot on. I think the best way to describe the way he played, it was either a home run or a strikeout, and that was kind of like that with Sano as well.
Exactly.
Many other Twins too. But he definitely had some good moments. That's for sure.
Vargas.
Kenny Vargas. That's right.
His
oh my gosh.
Big, dumb, goofy-looking person. Looked like he was swinging a toothpick every time he was up there.
That's right. And he man, when he connected, oh man, he destroyed that baseball. So, well done. I love OswaldoArcia. So it's my turn, and a lot of people, probably besides me and Voldy here, know of Gregchilds. Now, Voldy, I want to take you to the time where we went down to training camp one year, and we had some interactions with some Vikings. One of them being our guy, Anton Exum Jr., the mixtape and all that stuff. Great times with that. And one of the other Vikings that we did meet, Isaac Frichte, was one of those guys. But Jarius Wright, we had a little chat with Jarius Wright as well. I asked him a question about his former teammate, which would be Gregchilds. Now, Gregchilds and Jarius Wright were drafted both by the Minnesota Vikings in the same draft, which is cool to say the least. And man, what could have been with Gregchilds. Now, I'll explain here in a second. I did ask Jarius Wright, like, hey, you still keep in touch with Gregchilds and everything like that? And he's like, yeah, man, he's doing good. He's doing really good, and then some person butted in on our conversation. Wasn't any of us, any of the friends, or some rando person. It's like, excuse me, I'm having a convo with Jarius right now, all right? And, but they asked if, is he playing football still and whatnot? And he's like, no, he's all done, unfortunately. So, let's talk about Gregchilds. So, Gregchilds was, he's an Arkansas guy, obviously. Him and Jarius both went to Arkansas, as well as Buffalo Bills, former Buffalo Bills player, Chris Gregg, as well. And he was all-state selection as a senior in 2007, and he was a standout triple jumper in track as well. So he was very sought after high school, and ends up going to Arkansas, which is great because him and Jarius and those guys, they had a pretty good team back then too. As a freshman, he played in 12 games, 1 start, and had 18 receptions, 273 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty respectable for freshman year. As a sophomore, he started 8 of 13 games, led the team in 48 receptions and 894 yards and 7 touchdowns. Not too bad for a sophomore campaign, playing 8 of the 13 games. So that's, he getting better each year. And then his junior year in 2010, and this is around the time, Arkansas is not really known for their passing, but the group of wide receivers that they had those years were very good with Gregchilds and Jarius Wright. But his junior year, he played in only 8 games, but had 46 receptions, 659 yards, 6 touchdowns before suffering a season-ending patellar tendon injury. And if you know what that is, it is not a very pleasant injury, for one. It is, this was possibly career-ending. And unfortunately, it didn't, as I'll explain here in a little bit, it didn't turn out the way that you think it would for Gregchilds. But his pre-draft measurables, he was quite good. I mean, in the 40-yard dash Voldy, he had a 4.3. The shuttle drill, he was 4.09, which is pretty good. Vertical jump, 40.5 inches. I mean, he can jump. He can get up there. And he was selected by your Minnesota Vikings in the 4th round of the 2012 NFL Draft. And he was killing it in camp. He was absolutely doing great. He made some tough catches. Him and Jarius were really kind of standing out in that training camp. Granted, still Voldy in Mankato. And he, unfortunately, and this is probably the worst thing that could happen to somebody, especially in camp, on August 3rd, 2012, which is, coming up here as well. MRI revealed that he, in both knees, he tore his patellar tendon. So that eliminated him from his entire rookie season. The Vikings waived Childs on August 5th, 2012, and he was subsequently reverted to injured reserve on August 8th. But it didn't seem like he was going to be the same after this. I mean, when you tear both of those tendons in both your legs, that says something. He made an outstanding catch too, and just both legs just went out. So then the Vikings ultimately ended up putting him on August 27, 2013, on the reserve, physically unable to perform list, unfortunately. And the Vikings did end up releasing Gregchilds on March 6, 2014. He did have a tryout with the Jaguars. Unfortunately, he was not offered a contract. This was back in May of 2014. But Voldy, you'll like this, he did sign with the Toronto Argonauts on the practice roster on September 10th, 2014. But it was short-lived. He was released by the Argonauts on September 27th, 2014. So, with that being said, he never returned to football, especially after that injury. That is super hard to come back from, and I give him a lot of credit for trying his damnedest to do something with it and whatnot. But it just wasn't in the cards, and I had to do some searching, Voldy. I really had to do some searching on Gregchilds. But I did find his Instagram page. If you go to at the Gregchilds85, he still has his account. It says he is a traveler, athlete. He's very into fitness, so kind of like what our guy Troy Stoudemire is doing. And he's an entrepreneur, so he's doing a whole slew of things as well. He seems to be doing really well, and it seems like he's keeping busy. He looks like he's in great shape, as always, and whatnot. And, he definitely has the Vikings still on his bio, the Argonauts, and the Razorbacks as well, obviously. So you wonder, Voldy and Zoners, what could have been? What if Gregchilds, out of that year, and granted the Vikings still had Christian Ponder, what would it have been like with Gregchilds, Jarius Wright as wide receivers for the Minnesota Vikings? We'll never know. And we'll never know. If he did that well in training camp, I mean, could he still be playing? I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know.
It says on Wiki he is 35 years old. But, a lot of guys have long careers. Unfortunately, this injury, I just think, completely took him out of, everything and whatnot. And it's a damn shame because he makes a great catch, and unfortunately, tears both of them. I mean, just super unlucky. But he was a 6'4" wide receiver, had speed, and could go up and jump and get it. If those legs didn't tear and everything like that, who knows what would have happened, Voldy? He could have been amazing. Who knows? So, Gregchilds. Shout out to Gregchilds, by the way. Would love to have you on the show, see what is up with you, as well as Oswaldoarcia as well. So, Voldy, we will see if we can get some more guys to recognize us and whatnot and say appreciate the love and, hope they're both doing well. So, where are they now? That's what we got. Gregchilds, Oswaldoarcia. So, that'll do it. That was fun. I enjoyed that. And hopefully these guys will take a look at the podcast. Lawrence Maroney has. Troy Stoudemire, obviously. Mm-hmm. So, Boof Bonzer as well. So, we've had some guys show some love to us. And we got one guy on. We could have more. So, you never know. All right, Voldy, we've got a lot to get through for ARA. We have Kenny Pickett tweaking the hamstring. Opens the door for the rookies. Shador. Ooh. Gabriel. Joe Flacco. Which is probably a possibility at this point. And then Trey Hendrickson is back with the Cincinnati Bengals, as well as Stewart finally got his deal done as well. He will be starting. He's obviously got the deal. He'll be in training camp and getting going, see what they can do with two pass rushers. Maybe Hendrickson will play, maybe not. We'll see. And then Bryceharper going off on the commish. The commish not backing down from him. So a lot to talk about there. And to round things off, Lionelmessi suspended for skipping the All-Star game. Oof, lots to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get it going. What's up? Observed or approved?
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, it is time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, we start off in the world of the National Football League, and of course with training camp underway. One of the big questions is going to be not only who is going to be the starting quarterback, but who is going to be the backup for the Cleveland Browns. And well, one horse in the race right now in a 4-horse race is coming up a little bit lame and might be heading to that horse hospital. Who knows? That being quarterback Kenny Pickett injured his hamstring at the end of Saturday's practice, but is expected to be reevaluated later on this week. Now, Pickett was coming off a couple of strong practices this week. Of course, in the short term, there will be, of course, now more reps for Joe Flacco, who looks like to be the starter, at least on paper, followed by a couple of this year's rookie draft selections in Dylan Gabriel, and of course, the aforementioned savior of them all, Shedeur Sanders. That being with the quarterbacks heading into the fall camp as of right now. Kenny Pickett, of course, coming off was a first-round selection by the Pittsburgh Steelers, had a couple of cups of coffee, unfortunately couldn't get much success or consistency, ultimately get traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, now a Super Bowl champion as well, so you can put some respect on Kenny Pickett's name, and now he is coming up just a little bit lame here as of late, and now what could be an opening opportunity for these rookies to slide on into QB number 2. Now, with all this being said, and of course everything being thrown into the mix with the 4-quarterback room for the Cleveland Browns, is it absurd or approved? Will this injury hamper Pickett's chances at quite possibly being the backup quarterback for the Browns this season?
Well, before we even get into that, Voldy, we do have a couple, actually 2 breaking news.
My phone.
Starting off, let's go with the Minnesota Twins.
Okay.
Apparently, in the Twins clubhouse today, Brooks Lee had people thinking in the clubhouse that he was getting traded. He dapped up several teammates, pretending like he was getting dealt, and I have to admit, I bought it hook, line, and sinker, but
See, they've
the
been
guys
doing that
fell
for
for it.
Yep, they've been doing that for a couple of days now, and apparently Barstool is saying, great, now the Twins are trolling everybody just because it is, quote, hug season, if you will. Hashtag hug season. We're on Hug Watch 2025.
Hug watch, I like it.
Yeah. Just, I love that the Twins, even though they are complete garbage right now, they're still finding ways to stay relevant, and it just so happens to be trade deadlines.
I felt this needed to be brought up because that is hilarious. If
It
he's
is. I love
telling
it.
writers and
Because it's completely
reporters that.
absurd.
Yeah, there
It's
you
all
go.
absurd.
There you go. Perfect timing for that. But the other thing, and it's not really as big, but the Lynx at half are up 51-42 on the Liberty. MV is kicking ass right now. She is she's got 19 points. She is doing it all from three, from mid-range, inside the paint. She's that good, man. She's really that
Courtney
good.
Williams having a heck of a half, too, apparently, defensively also.
Let's go. Let's go. So let's get this dub, Lynx, and yeah. But anyway, Voldy, let's get back to what we were talking about. I would say so. I think it's got my stamp of approval. That'll hamper his chances. Listen, he's had his opportunities, and granted, he's had plenty of opportunities, especially in Pittsburgh. The Eagles, he filled in okay, but I just don't see him really doing much with Cleveland. I know he's a little bit younger. He's definitely got some more experience, which is great. But at the same time, I just don't think he is that franchise quarterback that people were hoping he would turn out to be, especially in Pittsburgh. But I think this will hamper his chances a little bit with this injury. Now, and it's not his fault. It happens. Injuries happen. But, at the same time, it's going to hurt your chances. So I could see them moving up Shedeur. I'm not sure. I haven't heard much out of Brown's camp specifically. I don't know if him or Gabriel have the edge or whatever's going on, or if Flacco is in there as well. I mean, no one really knows what the Browns are doing with their offense at this point. I don't know if Stefanski is, just trying to figure out who the hell is going to be our guy. Right. And I don't know. I mean, putting a rookie as a backup is maybe not the smartest thing, but if talent-wise, if you think, well, I'd rather have them back up Flacco and or like if something were to happen to Flacco or Pickett or whatever, then those guys could maybe give them some juice, Right. And again, Deshaun Watson, I mean, is he even going to play this year? Do we even know where he's at with it? Yes.
No.
So
I think he might have re-injured himself or had some sort
That's
of
right.
setback.
Yeah.
Setback as well. Plus, he just got married too, so he's got other things on his mind at the current moment. So I highly doubt that he'll be playing at any point this season.
The worst trade/contract ever. I think it's literally the worst thing that could happen for Browns. They openly admitted it too. So I think it will. It's got my stamp of approval. I think this will hurt his chances a little bit. He's had some opportunities to really start to, kind of maybe be a competent starter, but he just has not remained consistent. So, yeah, I think it's got my stamp of approval. I think this opens the door for Shedeur and Gabriel. So, Voldy, what do you think?
The thing you also have to look at, too, with, of course, Kenny Pickett. You gave up a 5th-round pick and another quarterback in the trade to the Eagles back in March. But also Cleveland made their statement and their intentions known when they declined his 5th-year option. So he's going to be a free agent after this season. You're already out, a draft pick and a player. But Cleveland does also have another 1st-round pick to go along with their 1st-round picks for the 2026 draft. So right now it's kind of, no harm, no foul situation if Kenny doesn't exactly pan out. Of course, you do have these two, young rookie, stocks right here as well, some prospects, if you will. Joe Flacco, for all intents and purposes, is going to be the starter. You'd like to have another guy in there with the NFL experience. Yes, it is Kenny Pickett to go along with these two younger guys, but I feel like if Gabriel and Sanders do take advantage of the situation and kind of start to light things up a little bit, or maybe see a lot more progress with, at least handling the playbook, picking up blitzes, reading defensive coverages as well at the NFL level, Kenny Pickett could very well see his way out the door before the preseason comes to a close. I could very well see it, but I'm sure he wouldn't be too far away in the event that something should happen. I think this will hurt his chances for sure. It's got my stamp of approval.
It's just, it's like every year you wonder, oh, is this going to be the year they figure it out with their quarterback? Is this going to be the year that they're going to get this all, figured out? No, usually
they had it figured out. They had Baker Mayfield. Look what's happened since then.
That's a good point. It's a very good point. So, Browns will be Browns. So, all right, next one, Voldy.
Well, we stay in the great state of Ohio. We just head over to the other side, which it will be the Cincinnati Bengals. As of course, over the weekend, it was, not announced at all. Very little fanfare with shemarstewart, first-round draft selection by the Bengals, signing his rookie contract and thus ending the circus that was the offseason, so that way he could finally join the Bengals and for training camp as well. Already had a couple very promising practices out of the weekend, according to Coach Zach Taylor. And now even coming into, of course, the holdout ending for reigning sack king and looking for a big-time extension as well. Treyhendrickson ended his holdout, now is doing a hold-in, if you will, with the Cincinnati Bengals as joining the team for training camp as of today. Now, of course, we all know the stipulations and everything that's taken place. Of course, shemarstewart signing his rookie deal, now coming in and now facing the fact that he is officially a member of the National Football League, and Treyhendrickson just looking to be comfortable even in the maybe dwindling years of his contract, with years that he has put up big numbers in the league. And of course, coming off a year where he did lead the league in sacks, just looking for a little bit of added insurance, even though the Bengals aren't really ones to do so and cover the guys at least on the defensive side of things. Now with Hendrickson and Stewart in camp, of course, Hendrickson still holding in, if you will, not overly participating. shemarstewart is practicing as well. Is it absurd or approved? Will the Bengals be able to rally and compete this year with their squad, even with all this fanfare that has taken place in and out of the locker room?
Ooh, it's tough to say because I look at the Bengals and I just think offense. You know what I mean? Like their offense is amazing. They got pretty solid running back with Chase Brown. I know they just released Zach Moss, by the way. I think it was today, and they brought back Chase. They brought back Higgins, and I think Gesicki's still there, isn't he?
Gesicki's still there. Yoshivas had a really nice year last year.
Yes, he had
for
a
them
really
too.
good year, too.
They got a dynamic offense, man. It is sick.
So, but then you look at the defense and you're just like, Treyhendrickson, Stewart. Yep. That's it. That's literally it. Because their defense was so bad last year that, especially with Hendrickson not really openly participating and everything like that, it just seems like talks have been kind of more or less not positive one day and then negative the other day because one side doesn't like what was offered, the other side, anytime you're dealing with contract extensions with the Bengals, I feel like this is a long drawn-out process every year. But I think they kind of know. In the back of their mind, they're thinking like, hey, if we trade him and maybe get a couple guys to kind of keep our defense a little bit, balanced, because if he actively is playing and, doing well and whatnot, and if they hopefully have a contract in place, I think they'll be able to rally. Stewart's a great player. I think he's going to be very good for the Bengals. But after that, you really don't have a lot of depth. I mean, there are guys that are starting out there that probably should still be on the practice squad, in all due respect. But it's hard for me to see them being able to compete with the defense that they currently have right now. I don't see it happening. I think it's absurd. I don't think that they'll be able to rally. You can score all these points, okay? You can score as many points as you want, but if you can't stop the other team, like a top offense, like the Vikings, like the Eagles, like, the Bills, in the AFC as well, like the Ravens, for goodness sake, the Chiefs. So I just don't see it. I think they're going to struggle a little bit, and they're going to be dealing with a lot of high-scoring games. And I think Hendrickson is not happy with them, no matter what people say. I think it's going to be a tough road for the Bengals. I really do. So I say absurd. Voldy, what do you think?
It's not a real vote of confidence when you got members of the Bengals coaching staff flat out saying we're going to have to score a lot of points this year, and just not a real good feeling if you're a Bengals fan defensively. Let's not also forget the fact that Sam Hubbard, another defensive end for them, retired at the ripe old age of, I think he was 24, 25 or something like that, from Cincinnati also. Just completely random, even after the last couple of years where he was. Him and Hendrickson coming off the edge, a pretty good dynamic pair there on the D-line for them. But yes, the defense is just, it's just not good on paper right now as we sit here just looking at what they have or what they don't have. And especially in a very crowded AFC North, they are going to have to put up 50 points a game in order to compete. If they're even lucky, because all the other teams in their division could also put up 40, 50 points if they wanted to. And we'll just play bully ball all season in the AFC North. Get your popcorn ready in the AFC North, because there's going to be some very interesting matchups this season. And other divisions, too, we'll be looking at this season. Definitely going to be very interesting. But with the Bengals, will they be able to rally and compete? I hate to say it. No, I don't think so. Joe Burrow could very well win the MVP this season. I'll put that out into the ether. Probably should have won it last year. I could very well see Joe Burrow put up gaudy numbers with, of course, Jamar Chase and the whole offense that they've got, putting up 35, 40 points a game. Joe Burrow could very well take home MVP honors this year, and his team won't make the playoffs. That's probably going to be a safe bet on top of it. But I'd like to be wrong. I would like to be proven wrong, because I think we need to see Joe Burrow more in the playoffs, especially after that 1 year that they had. Sadly, going to be almost 5 years at this point that they were in the Super Bowl. Lots happened since then. But sadly, I don't think the boys in Bengals are going to be competing very much this season.
Well, just because I was interested in seeing kind of how things are going with the Bengals, I just Googled, Bengals defense, thoughts on. Apparently Joe Burrow said a couple things. He thinks that the defense are doing a great job. Young guys are really stepping up, making things tough for me to make plays. Both sides are going to make plays, but their energy, physicality, knowledge of their coverages, I think, has been top level. So there's that. But when you're saying, coaches are we got to score a lot of points, you can be youthful all you want. But when it comes down to experience with some of these teams, I think that's where they're going to falter, unfortunately. So I don't know. That's just we're in the same boat. I love their offense, don't like their defense. I don't. So anyway, we'll see what happens. So all right, next one, Voldy.
Well, we head to the world of Major League Baseball, and Commissioner Rob Manfred, of course, making his tour to all 30 of the clubs across the league as a way of checking in and also giving annual updates to organizations and the players at the level just to see how everything is going. But in one recent meeting, if you will, in the Philadelphia Phillies locker room clubhouse with Commissioner RobManfred and Bryceharper, and of course some rumors being swirling around of consideration of a quote-unquote salary cap in baseball, Bryceharper stood nose to nose with RobManfred during that meeting and said to the commissioner, told him to, quote, get the F out of our clubhouse if you wanted to talk about the potential implementation of a salary cap. Of course, something been talked about, no salary cap in baseball. Teams can spend as much or as little as they would wish to, but of course, growing concern of not competitiveness overall, parity within the league has drawn some attention from the front office of Major League Baseball and at the commissioner level. Now, this, of course, these conversations taking place ahead of the collective bargaining agreement between Major League Baseball and the Players Association, which is set to expire December 1st of 2026. So obviously you want to get a head start on everything when talking about such things when it comes to a possible salary cap or even a salary floor, which means a minimum amount of spending for teams in the game within itself. Now, of course, during said meeting as well, Bryceharper was sitting in a chair holding a bat as well, would eventually grow frustrated and said if MLB were to propose a salary cap and hold firm to it, players, quote, are not scared to lose 162 games. Now, with said conversations taking place and RobManfred not even backing down from Bryceharper and saying, I'm not going to get the F out of the clubhouse, is it absurd or prove? Is it valid for Bryceharper to cuss out the commissioner over the potential salary cap in baseball?
Well, that's music to the Pollad's ears if there's a salary cap and then that they can hang their hat on. Maybe they won't sell. Oh God, I hope. That would be awful.
Do.
But there's been a lot of talk about that and whatnot, and the Yankees, Dodgers, and some of these teams that have enough payroll to go out and get guys like a Harper, Trout, and Ohtani, and all these other guys. Like I get it from that standpoint, but hey, someone. Finally, I think, like we talked about before the show, Voldy, is how in the world, how in the world does RobManfred think that some of his ideas are actually good and, things like that? And guys have kind of have said things about him and just kind of brushed him off like it's nothing. And Bryceharper finally was, got up and, tested him. And what's interesting to me is that he didn't back down. I give him some credit. Like you said before the show, Voldy, you got to give Manfred some credit. He didn't back down. He stood his ground and everything like that. And we've been very critical of RobManfred here on this show. Sure. And, I can respect that. I can respect that. Now, the idea of doing the salary cap thing, and apparently they shook hands or whatever, and he didn't want to talk about it, and he just was like, forget it. But it's impressive. He kind of goes out, cusses him out, and Manfred stands firm and says, nah, I'm not afraid of what you think or whatever, anything like that. So, I know this has been talked about a lot and, it's been, talked about possibly doing. I don't think it warrants being cussed out and everything like that and whatnot. But I also think, too, that I think they need to have a little bit of a more deeper conversation about this as opposed to cussing at each other. So I think it's absurd. I don't think it was valid for him to do that. But I think this was a test for Manfred because how Manfred responded was better than any of us thought it would be. If he would have just kind of was like, if he just backed down and just kind of walked away or just, whatever, then that he's pretty much a fraud. But You know,
Yep.
this shows, hey, you know what? We got to talk about this. This is the deal. So, yeah, I think it's absurd. I don't think he should have cussed him out. I think they should have had a little bit more of a conversation, and that's not what happened. And we know Bryce Harper is a very emotional person. Like he's one of those guys where if he doesn't like something, he will let you know. Especially with that whole clown question, bro. I think we still have that one saved.
Classic.
But, I gotta look it up. So, yeah, I think it's absurd. I don't think it warranted him getting all mad and whatnot, because that doesn't get anything done. That just shows like,
Right.
you're just mad at that point. So,
Of course.
Voldy, what do you think?
You know, I have been extremely critical of Rob Manfred. Of course, he's been on my top 10 and famous list for a number of shows here in the past. Rob Manfred got into my good side here with not backing down against Bryce Harper for sure. And of course, Rob Manfred, probably 5'2". I don't know. Bryce Harper's what, 6'3", 6'4", something like that. Probably even taller. Who knows? Professional athletes are freaks within themselves. But I love the fact that he did not back down, even with Harper getting right into his face and saying, get the F out. And, you know, Manfred did not back down, because this is tough. These are tough conversations. Bryce Harper making big money. He doesn't want to see a salary cap. He doesn't want to see, you know, his teammates probably get, penny pinched, if you will, and the salary cap to hold his team back from the potential of making to a World Series yet again. It's tough to see. But I would like to see a salary floor, or, you know, a minimum that franchises would have to spend in order to be competitive, or at least make the fact that, you know, they're at least showing interest in the success of their teams. Comments themselves probably a little bit on the harsher side, saying that guys are not scared to lose 162 games. If you want to speak about that, get the F out of our clubhouse. It's all about being transparent. I feel like with Manfred, he's trying to be more transparent with the players and the league as a whole. Of course, him going around to all the clubs and checking in with players. That's what you want to see. I don't see Gary Bettman doing this, or, you know, maybe Roger Goodell. I don't see Adam Silver doing stuff like this on the regular. Of course, with Major League Baseball, a lot more teams, you know, a lot further spread out, and at least being able to, you know, connect with the players on top of that certainly does draw a lot of bit more light to it. I'm sure Goodell does stuff like this, or maybe he doesn't, or at least there's somebody within the league office that goes around to each of the teams and at least talk things about that. Of course, maybe it's through the Players Association. I don't know. But at least Manfred trying to win over the players a little bit more, at least understand what's going on from a business side of things, definitely has won me over in a lot more favor in that regard. But the comments themselves, little bit on the strong side, because we still got a year and some change here before the collective bargaining agreement is going to expire. Maybe more conversation needs to take place on some other things related to the implementation of maybe some rules, or at least further actions into what the CBA is going to be looking like past 2026. But I think it's a little bit absurd. I think Harper probably took it just a little bit too far at the deep end, for sure.
Yeah, and, you know, again, you kind of expect that, and I know that some guys don't really respect Manfred and whatnot, but I don't know. He showed some balls against Harper there, especially one of the top guys in baseball, so it's impressive. I'll give him that. So, all right, last one, Voldy.
Well, we head to the world of Major League Soccer. One of its premier stars in recent seasons, Inter Miami CF's Leo Messi, had been suspended for one game along with teammate Jordi Alba after not being made available and actually skipping the festivities that went with the mlsallstar game that took place last week. And of course, this being an opportunity for maybe soccer fans in the U.S. to get a chance to see Leo Messi, and definitely did not win over the league as a whole, as the league did suspend Messi and Alba for that one game, but could have worked into the favor of Inter Miami, and of course with Leo Messi after much needed rest that they have had, even with the number of games that have played over the last couple of years. Of course, the Club World Cup that took place recently here on U.S. soil, as well as, of course, playing in the regular World Cup. You got the Leagues Cup coming up, another World Cup coming up next year in the United States, I should say in North America as a whole. But this also brings up a fact of what we've seen in other leagues, of course, with the NBA, MLB, the Pro Bowl, as well as the NHL All-Star Game, that maybe players are going to be, skipping that and maybe declining to attend said All-Star Games in favor of rest, or maybe just not really garnering a lot of interest. Of course, with the MLS taking a firm stand, not letting Lionel Messi dictate how they should run the league as a whole, and say, look, you skipped out on the All-Star Game, you're getting suspended, you're getting a one-match ban on top of it. So you look at that situation as a whole. Is it absurd to approve? Should the big four leagues, of course, being Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA, and the NFL, look into the possibility of suspending players for not attending said All-Star Game related events? Because we've seen in Major League Baseball, guys decline all the time. We get third, fourth, fifth, sometimes even eighth time replacements down the road of guys that have been like kind of meh, but now they're an all-star. The Pro Bowl's become a joke. NBA All-Star Game is also a joke within itself. NHL All-Star Game, I mean, they're kind of phasing that out slowly but surely, or at least kind of, switching to different formats too. But should those big four leagues look into quite possibly suspending said players for not attending the All-Star Game in favor of maybe they would actually go and maybe participate in said All-Star Games?
Well, it's tough for a guy like myself who is not a soccer aficionado, unfortunately. Or unfortunately. I don't know, whatever you want to put it. And I'm joking. But for him specifically, I know he's been around. He's a well-known name and everything like that. But I also kind of think of the kiddos that go to this and want to see those top players, and fans who want to see those top players and, interact and, do all sorts of stuff. Now, I'm not familiar with their format and how their game goes about, but from the standpoint of the MLS, they're kind of saying, like, I don't care who you are, you're getting suspended for skipping out on it. Now, it's another thing to say, look, I need some rest. I've been, going through the ringer of matches and stuff like that. Like, I'm dealing with an injury. But apparently that wasn't communicated. Like, I feel like maybe if he communicated it better, that maybe this would have been kind of cleared up, or maybe he'd just take a fine. But apparently he was pissed. I mean, he was pissed with the MLS for suspending him. And then the coach didn't like it as well. But gives him some rest in general. A lot of this has become a joke, like you said. It has. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. These All-Star Games are just not what they used to be. And, but I think maybe he needs to do a little bit more better communicating with the team and the MLS to say, listen, like, I'm, like, if his doctors or whoever goes in and says he needs rest, he needs, like, he doesn't need to go to these events and stuff like that. But just blatantly skipping out on this is a little bit of a no-no in this sense. But to answer the question, yeah, I mean, if you don't give any heads up or anything along those lines, then that's a problem. And I think, they should, go from that, either that or a hefty fine could be a possibility there too. But, you think about the fans, think about, all this stuff. But I think a lot of this could have been avoided. But if you said you're going to be at the events, don't show up, yes, you should be, held accountable. But it's just... Did he deserve the suspension? I mean, you can't really take it from his pocketbook. The guy's a superstar. I mean, $1 million fine. He's not hurting. Like, this guy's one of the most renowned soccer players ever in the state of soccer. So, Yeah, it's got my stamp of approval. I think if you're not communicating it well, if you're not, not doing anything to really tell the league, like, hey, I'm kind of beat up here. Like, can I, I'm honored. Let's move on. But apparently that wasn't the case. So,
Right.
yeah, it's got my stamp of approval. So, Voldy, what do you think?
Yeah, I look at the upcoming schedule for Inter Miami. Of course, they do have the League of Champions tournament coming up here. Actually, as of tonight, believe it or not, that is going on. And of course, they're coming off the run with the Club World Cup that took place here in North America, and they made it pretty far into that too. And of course, the number of matches that took place. From the last couple of years with Messi in Inter Miami. And of course, let's not even forget the actual World Cup coming up here in 2026 here with North America. Messi's got a lot of matches in front of him still, and he still wants to be, of course, considered, if not, top player in the world. So he needs as much rest as he can. I don't blame him for skipping out on it. It's just the fact that you couldn't have not have just shown up. I don't know if it's one of those situations, if you show up, you have to play, or if it's, you can be there and you can still show up, sign autographs, all that stuff, whatever, and at least make it look like you care. The thing I would like to consider for Major League Baseball is that I should say Major League Baseball and all professional sports, or at least the big four here in Major League Baseball. And of course, America, I don't know why I keep saying Major League Baseball, it's on my mind, I guess, is when you decline an invitation all-star game, I feel like it should be mandatory that you need to attend the next one that you are announced to, regardless. It could be next year, could be the 5 years after that, or whatsoever. I feel like that needs to be an option because we see too many guys that have been all-stars in the first half of the season or the season as a whole in some cases, and they don't show up and get that recognition. Yes, we know that the all-star competitions have turned into a little bit of a joke within itself, but still, you would like to see that, the host cities that do get this opportunity to put on an event, once every 20 years or something like that. Like obviously the Twins, Minnesota hosted the All-Star game 11 years ago, believe it or not. I mean, it's hard to believe. 2014 is when the MLB came to Minnesota at the All-Star game at Target Field, and we probably won't see it maybe another 20 years, 15 years at the earliest, I would probably say. And the fact that there's a few other venues that have hosted, here in Minnesota. I think 2003, Minnesota hosted the NHL All-Star Game. Of course, the Super Bowl was hosted by Minnesota back in 2017, 2018, something like that. And beyond that, you don't get those opportunities too often. So when the biggest stars say, no, I'm not going to do that, you're robbing, of course, these places that you may have fans of certain players or certain teams there that don't get to see their favorite players, if at all, beyond on this screen between you and me right now. It's kind of sad. It's pathetic, honestly. I understand these guys need breaks. They need time to rest. Maybe they don't see their family as much. But right now, given the space of where we are right now, you need to take your brand into consideration. And having that, it definitely needs to take a little bit more precedent. I think the leagues definitely need to take consideration and have some sort of repercussions like, hey, we vested into you. You have been chosen as a guy that we see that could be a big star. And you just basically say, no, I'm okay. And you basically took a big old dump right in front of everybody. Doesn't speak volumes at all about anything you said. So I think that repercussions need to be taking place. Suspensions might be just a little bit over the line in my personal opinion, but definitely some repercussions need to be taken for sure amongst the big four leagues.
Yeah, that's the thing though too, is not a lot of guys want to do it, and that's kind of
pathetic, honestly.
It's the sad thing about it. So that's just how it needs to be.
Yep.
So anyway, that'll do it for Harry this time around. Great job as always, Voldy.
Thanks.
Shield shoutouts. We have a load of shield shoutouts tonight. The Lynx are still winning. I believe the last time I looked, it was by about 9 or 11 or whatever it was. So
Go, ladies.
let's get it done against those Liberty. Yeah, those cheaters.
Up 11 now.
Up 11. Let's go. Yes, sir. So, anyway, let's get it going with some shoutouts.
Shield Shoutouts.
All right, Shield, who ya shout out tonight?
Well, sadly, we start off here with, of course, the passing of a baseball legend and a well-known player that was, for the Chicago Cubs, Hall of Famer Rynesandberg sadly passed away on Sunday after a battle with cancer and was battling back and forth over the last couple of years with injuries and, I shouldn't say injuries, but sickness and, of course, ultimately cancer forcing his hand. Of course, he was a former manager as well with the Philadelphia Phillies in his time, of course, well respected within the league and, of course, with the Cubs organization. Sadly, Rhino himself did pass away on Sunday. And, of course, Matt, with a big Vold family reunion taking over the city of St. Cloud.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I find out we've got an international following on our hands. Hopefully we get a little bit of love from that, from some extended family out in the Czech Republic. That's right. My dad's cousin, Dan Lampkin, is a follower of the show and actually loves what we do all the way over from Prague itself. Got to catch up with Dan and his family, his wife Katrina, of course, his kids, Emma, Joey, Benny as well. We had a wonderful time during the Vold family reunion as well. Got to hang out, got to catch up, reminisce, all that fun stuff. And, of course, I have to send a shield shout out as well to the folks, Jim and Jan, for putting on together a wonderful family reunion. Nothing but positive reviews from the 40-plus Vold relatives over the weekend. Lots of fun time with extended family, which did include, of course, the annual Vold family golf outing between myself, Steve, and Brian. We all took home the title, winning at 4 under through 9 holes. And me personally, I ended up taking 3rd place in the putting competition. My brother DJ took 2nd place, and we ultimately relinquished the traveling trophy and prize package to Pastor Bruce Vold as well, my dad's cousin on top of it. So Pastor Bruce took home the putting title and the traveling trophy this year. And you know what? It was great to see everybody, and hopefully we can all reconnect yet again in a couple of years. I think we're going down to Iowa for the next family reunion. A lot of people have been also talking about next summer going to Prague within itself. So maybe we'll have to see about that if we can make something happen there. But that's going to do it for Shield Shoutouts this week.
We're going international. That's how we do
There
it
we
here at MinneZona Sports Live. I love it. Sounds like one hell of a reunion. So that sounded like
good.
a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was awesome.
Yeah, that sounded great. So appreciate everyone who tunes into the show, especially in the Czech Republic. Yeah, I heard about Rynesandberg. It's cancer sucks, man. It really does. It's just one of those things where it's just if anyone could ever find a cure, I hope it would be very soon, and whatnot. So, anyway, great job with Shield Shoutouts, as always,
Thanks,
Voldy. Voldy, before we get into the merch side of things, Pick'em's back, baby! Yeah! Pick'em is back. Yeah. We will be sending out the link. We do have a password this time around. Yes. If you are interested, please either comment and or message us to let us know if you're going to come back for the people that were in last year and whatnot. We will have a password for you guys to get in. Just message one of us. We'll get that going so we avoid getting any more random usernames that we had no idea who they were. So make sure that you have a name that we know who it is. We can send you all the Zona stuff. So you can win prizes. You can win hats. You can win shirts. You can win stickers. You can win a plethora of things, hats especially. So our listener league is getting ready as well. We're working on doing our buy-in for that as well, so we'll keep you in tune with that for those of you that are in the league. And yeah, with that being said, our 5-year anniversary shorts have been ordered. Yes, just got the proofs today. They look great, and Custom Ink will be sending them out to all of you lovely people as well in your home. You don't have to worry about me or Voldy having to send it to you. It's going right to you. So anyway, we got that going. And Voldy, you know, we did this at the beginning of the show, but we might as well do it to end the show. We've got some options, as the Kerf Doctor would like to say, on some hats. What do we have, Voldy?
Of course, we do have the Hunter Orange here. Of course, everybody probably getting ready or have been already doing some advanced scouting. Got to make sure everybody out in the woods is well covered with this beautiful one-of-a-kind hat right here. Of course, including the one on my head. But we also do have a little bit of a shine on top of it. Limited numbers as well for the neon yellow, neon green, if you want to enjoy one of those. Also do have our 5th anniversary hats in one style and 2 styles right there.
Oh,
limited
my
qualities,
God.
5th anniversary. We got 5 of each of these bad boys here for you. And our final collab hat, MinneZona Sports Live Adidas right there. That's the last one that we have in stock. And of course, the original OGs with the Digi Camo and of course, the American flag hat as well.
Awesome.
Definitely want to get in on these. $20 a hat, $5 shipping on top of that. Reach out to us, and we'll get you covered on top.
That's right. Well said, Voldy. We have those ready for you. Just let us know. We'll get them to you. So, with that too, we got plenty of merch. We got tumblers. That's going to be coming up here with
Ooh, yeah,
fall
baby.
and whatnot. Sweatpants as well. We got the shirts, stickers, like we said, with the hats. So make sure you talk to one of us. We'll get you set up, ready to go. Look at that. Storage there, just unmatched. And thank you to National Fleet Graphic, Crown Rental Tyler Knudsen for the stickers. And make sure you check out our guy, W2 Performance, Will Rattal, www.w2performance.com. Make sure you check out all of his stuff, his content. He's killing it as usual, getting those views and subscribers up day in and day out. Props out to Will Rattal. Make sure you check out the Brotherly Ballers podcast. Tyler Hermann, Jack Vickers. They'll be starting up here very, very, very soon. And make sure you check out our guy, TLS Performance, Troy Stoudemire Jr. doing his thing as well. And the Popcorn Bucket List, Nick Dahlhoff, Ryne, Rhino, Myhrberg, Omni Entertainment. They've got plenty of things, especially the big blockbusters. Superman, Fantastic Four, The Naked Gun, I think, comes out this weekend as well. So a lot of movies that are out, and go to the movies. There's a lot of cool stuff, and they've got the analysis, reviews, all sorts of stuff ready for you. So check them out on YouTube. That's going to do it for episode 247. Yes, we'll be back next week. We'll see what we got with Vikings. If the Twins are going to fire Rocco, who knows? There's a lot to be talked about. And one last check. The links are up 84-71. 5 minutes left. Let's go. Let's get it done, ladies. Let's get revenge on what happened in that Game 5 last year and let them know who's boss and what they're going to do here in the playoffs as well. So, we will keep you up to date with that. But without further ado, as always, remember, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.